First Contact's Shadow Commander Elena Reyes stood motionless on the observation deck of the HSS Defiant, Earth's most ambitious military project. Through the reinforced viewport, she watched technicians scurrying across the massive hangar bay, making final adjustments to her ship's exterior. The vessel looked deceptively small for what it represented, humanity's last hope. "Commander, the final systems check is complete." Lieutenant Commander Akira Tanaka's voice broke through her contemplation. "Engineering reports the Hawking drive is stable and operating within expected parameters." Elena nodded, her dark eyes never leaving the bustling activity outside. "And the Prometheus array?" "Charged and ready. Though Dr. Kaplan still insists we don't fully understand how it works." A smile touched Elena's lips. "We understand enough." 12 days earlier, the Deep Space Monitoring Station on Europa had detected something impossible: a fleet of vessels decelerating at the edge of the solar system. The objects moved with purpose, their formation too precise to be natural. Humanity's first confirmation of intelligent extraterrestrial life had come not with a message of peace, but with what could only be described as an invasion force. Earth's governments, typically fractured by old rivalries and fresh disputes, had united overnight. Conventional military assets were mobilized, diplomatic signals broadcast, and civilian evacuation protocols initiated for major population centers. But behind closed doors, military leaders knew the truth. If the approaching armada harbored hostile intent, conventional resistance would be futile. That's when Project Defiant emerged from the shadows. "Commander, to the bridge," came the announcement, over the ship-wide comm. "General Williams requesting your presence." Elena moved with practiced efficiency through the corridors of her ship. The Defiant had been built in secret, funded by a coalition of nations that had poured resources into theoretical physics applications that most considered impossible. The vessel represented a technological leap that would have taken decades under normal circumstances. But circumstances had not been normal since the coronal mass ejection of 2041 had delivered more than just a devastating electromagnetic pulse to Earth. Hidden within that solar storm had been something else, technology of clearly artificial origin that had crashed in the Antarctic ice sheet. For 15 years, the brightest minds on the planet had reverse-engineered what they could, developing theories and applications that had culminated in this ship. The bridge hummed with quiet activity as Elena entered. On the main view screen, General Williams' weathered face looked even more careworn than when she'd seen him 3 days ago. "Commander Reyes," he acknowledged. "I'll be brief. The alien fleet has accelerated. Their current trajectory puts them in Earth orbit in 38 hours. Elena maintained her composure. "Our diplomatic efforts?" "Failed," Williams said flatly. "We've transmitted in every conceivable format. They've responded only once, in perfect English." He paused. "They said, 'Prepare for assessment.'" A chill ran through the bridge. "The Security Council has made its decision," Williams continued. "Defiant launches in 6 hours. Your mission is to intercept the fleet and demonstrate our capabilities. Make it clear that humanity won't be assessed without having a say in the matter." Elena understood the unspoken directive. "Show them we can hurt them. Make them reconsider." "What about the international fleet?" she asked. "They'll remain in Earth orbit as our last line of defense. Defiant is our only craft capable of matching their velocity and reaching them before they arrive." After the briefing concluded, Elena gathered her senior officers. The weight of responsibility pressed down on her shoulders like physical mass. At 42, she had spent her career preparing for conflicts with human adversaries, not alien civilizations. "The Hawking drive gives us capabilities they won't expect," she explained to her team. "Our intelligence suggests their propulsion is conventional, just more advanced. They don't know we've leapfrogged certain technological hurdles." "And if they have defenses we haven't anticipated?" asked her tactical officer, Commander Vega. "Then we adapt," Elena replied simply. "But remember, this isn't just about the technology. It's about showing them who we are. Humanity doesn't bow easily, but we're not mindlessly aggressive either. We need to demonstrate both strength and restraint." As launch preparations accelerated, Elena found a moment of solitude in her quarters. On her desk sat a photograph of her daughter Maya, smiling from her university graduation. Elena touched the image gently. Everything she had ever valued was on the planet behind her. Everyone's children, everyone's future. The responsibility was overwhelming when examined too closely. Her comm unit chimed. "Commander, we've received the final launch authorization. Pre-flight checks are commencing. Acknowledged. I'll be right there." Launch came precisely on schedule. The massive hangar doors parted, revealing the star-filled darkness beyond Earth's atmosphere. Defiant's conventional engines pushed the ship clear of the orbital facility, the blue curve of Earth falling away beneath them. "Hawking Drive standing by," reported Lieutenant Commander Tanaka from his station. "Coordinates locked for intercept." Elena settled into her command chair, her posture betraying none of the emotion churning beneath her professional exterior. "Engage the drive, Commander Tanaka. Engaging now." The stars on the view screen blurred momentarily, then stabilized as the ship entered what the physicists called compressed spacetime. Unlike conventional faster-than-light theories, the Hawking Drive didn't move the ship through space faster than light. It compressed the space in front of the vessel while expanding it behind, effectively surfing a wave of distorted reality. The alien technology from Antarctica had made it possible, though the scientists still argued about whether it had been a gift or an accident. Either way, it had given humanity a fighting chance. "Transit successful," Tanaka reported. "We'll reach intercept coordinates in 4 hours, 17 minutes. Elena nodded, studying the tactical display where the alien formation appeared as a cluster of red indicators, 73 vessels of varying sizes, moving in perfect harmony like a school of predatory fish. "Begin passive scans. I want as much information as possible before they detect us." As data began flowing in, the bridge crew worked in focused silence. The alien ships were massive, the largest nearly 5 kilometers in length. Energy readings suggested power generation capabilities far beyond Earth's technology. "Commander," called out her science officer, Lieutenant Kim, "I'm detecting unusual radiation patterns from the fleet. It appears they're scanning ahead of themselves, probably mapping our entire system." "Can they detect us at this distance?" "Unknown. The Hawking Drive masks our signature, but we've never tested it against alien sensor technology." Elena studied the tactical display. "Bring us out of compressed space behind Saturn's rings. We'll use the ice particles and radiation as additional camouflage while we complete our analysis." The next 3 hours passed in tense preparation. Weapon systems were brought to standby. Sensors recorded everything possible about the approaching fleet, and Elena finalized her approach strategy with her officers. "Their communication suggested they see this as an assessment," she explained. "That implies a superior position. They believe they're coming to judge us, not meet us as equals." "Typical colonial mentality," remarked Commander Vega. "They're looking for resources or territory, and they're checking if we're worth negotiating with or simply conquering." "Either way," Elena continued, "we need to disrupt that narrative immediately. We intercept them beyond Mars' orbit and make it clear that we determine our own fate." When the time came to leave their hiding place, Elena addressed the entire crew. "In moments, we will make humanity's first deliberate contact with an alien civilization. History has taught us that when technologically mismatched societies meet, the less advanced often suffer tremendously. We are here to ensure that doesn't happen to Earth. Each of you was chosen not just for your skills but for your judgment. Remember that we represent the best of humanity today. Be worthy of that responsibility." The Defiant emerged from Saturn's rings, its engines glowing as it accelerated toward the approaching armada. Elena watched the distance counter tick down on her display, her mind clear, her purpose fixed. "Open a channel on all frequencies," she ordered. "Let's introduce ourselves." As they crossed the orbit of Jupiter, the alien fleet adjusted course. Slightly, they had detected the approaching vessel. "They're scanning us," reported Lieutenant Kim, his hands dancing across his console. "Powerful, detailed scans. They've definitely seen us." "Any response to our hails?" "Nothing yet, Commander." Elena leaned forward slightly. Put me on broadcast. When the channel opened, she spoke clearly and with authority. This is Commander Elena Reyes of the Earth vessel HSS Defiant. You are approaching a sovereign system. Your communication suggesting an assessment of our world is not acceptable. We are not subjects to be evaluated. We are meeting you here away from our planet to make this clear from the outset. We extend peaceful greetings, but we will defend ourselves if necessary. The bridge fell silent as they waited for a response. The distance between Defiant and the alien fleet continued to decrease. "Commander," said Lieutenant Kim suddenly, his voice tight. "They're accelerating." On the tactical display, the red cluster of indicators surged forward, their formation shifting into something more aggressive. "They're taking up attack positions," warned Commander Vega. "Multiple energy signatures, powering up across their fleet." Elena's expression hardened. The moment of truth had arrived sooner than she'd hoped. "Raise shields. Bring the Prometheus array to full charge. Let's show them exactly what they're dealing with." The silent battlefield, the alien armada spread across the view screen like a constellation of artificial stars, their massive hulls reflecting the distant sun. The formation had changed, transforming from a travel configuration into something unmistakably offensive, a predator's stance before the lunge. "Message incoming," announced Communications Officer Rivera. "Audio and visual." "On screen," Elena ordered, straightening in her command chair. The image that appeared showed a being that seemed almost deliberately designed to unsettle human sensibilities. Multiple yellow eyes blinked independently across a face with too many angles. When it spoke, its mouth moved in ways that didn't match the words, clearly a translation overlay. "Human vessel," the alien said, its voice processed to approximate human speech patterns. "You demonstrate unexpected technology. Interesting, but irrelevant. Your species will be cataloged and your resources allocated according to hegemony protocols. Resistance is noted but will not affect the assessment outcome." Elena kept her expression neutral despite the coldness of the message. "I don't believe you understand our position. We are not accepting any assessment. Earth is not available for your cataloging or resource allocation." The alien made a gesture that might have been dismissive. "Your understanding is not required. Stand down your vessel and prepare for boarding. We will extract your technological data before proceeding to your homeworld." Before Elena could respond, the transmission cut off. "They're powering weapons," reported Commander Vega. "Multiple targeting systems activating. How many vessels are focusing on us? 6 of their mid-sized ships are breaking formation, approximately 2 kilometers each in length." Elena absorbed this information with practiced calm. 6 ships, each many times larger than the Defiant, deemed sufficient to capture or destroy them. The alien's confidence was absolute, and about to be their weakness. Tactical assessment, Commander Vega studied his readings. Their energy signatures suggest directed particle weapons, likely plasma-based. No indication of anything resembling our Prometheus technology. Their shields appear conventional, energy dispersion fields rather than our space-time distortion. "Barriers. Lieutenant Commander Tanaka, plot a micro-jump. I want us to reappear directly between those 6 vessels." The bridge crew exchanged glances. The maneuver would place them at the center of the enemy formation, surrounded and potentially trapped. "Commander," Tanaka began cautiously, "that position would expose us to fire from all directions." "It would, if they could hit us," Elena replied. "But more importantly, it will demonstrate capabilities they clearly don't expect we have. Execute the jump on my mark." The alien vessels approached methodically, their massive forms growing on the view screen. At their current velocity, they would be in optimal firing range in 40 seconds. "Prometheus array at full charge," reported the weapons officer. "Targeting. Systems active. All hands secure for combat maneuvers," Elena announced shipwide. Then more quietly to her bridge crew, "Let's show them what humanity can do. Execute jump." The stars blurred momentarily as the Hawking drive engaged for just a fraction of a second, enough to cross thousands of kilometers instantly. When reality stabilized, The Defiant sat at the center of the approaching alien formation, surrounded on all sides by massive vessels that were now frantically adjusting their trajectories. "They're recalibrating weapons," Vega reported, unable to keep a note of satisfaction from his voice. Their targeting systems weren't prepared for that maneuver. "Open a channel," Elena ordered. When the communication system activated, she spoke clearly. "This is your only warning. Return to your previous course and leave this system. We have no desire for conflict, but we will not be subjugated." The response came almost immediately, not in words, but in action. The nearest alien vessel fired, a brilliant stream of energized particles lancing toward the Defiant. "Shields holding," reported Vega as the impact registered. "Minimal power drain." Elena's eyes narrowed. "Lieutenant Kim, analysis of their weapon technology? Impressive by our conventional standards, but nothing our shields can't handle. Their targeting systems seem to struggle with our size and maneuverability." "Commander," Tanaka interjected, "3 more vessels are breaking from the main fleet. They're moving to support the attack group." Elena nodded. It was time. "Activate the Prometheus array. Target the lead vessel's propulsion systems only. Minimum effective yield." The Defiant hummed as the alien technology adapted from the Antarctic crash site came fully online. Unlike conventional weapons that delivered energy to a target, the Prometheus array manipulated space-time itself around the target. The science was beyond complete human understanding, but the effects were undeniable. A pulse of distorted reality erupted from the Defiant, invisible until it reached the lead alien vessel. There, space itself seemed to ripple around the ship's engine section. Metal groaned and twisted as fundamental forces briefly rewrote themselves in a controlled volume. The massive engines flickered and died, secondary explosions cascading through the affected area. Complete silence fell across the Defiant's bridge as they watched the result of their attack. The alien vessel listed, emergency systems visibly activating across its hull as it struggled to compensate for the catastrophic damage. "Their shields never activated," Lieutenant Kim said in quiet amazement. "The array bypassed them completely." The remaining alien vessels had frozen in place, no longer advancing or firing. Their perfect formation wavered as ships adjusted position, clearly reassessing their approach. "They're communicating with each other," Rivera reported. "Massive data exchanges between vessels." Elena seized the moment. "Open a channel to the entire fleet." When the connection was established, she stood from her command chair, her posture straight and confident. This demonstration was restrained. "We disabled a single system on one vessel, though we could have destroyed it entirely. The technology you just witnessed can be scaled to affect multiple targets simultaneously. We do not wish to use it further, but make no mistake, we will defend our world with every capability at our disposal." For several tense moments there was no response. The alien vessels remained motionless against the backdrop of stars. Then, unexpectedly, the communication system activated. The alien that appeared this time was different, its multiple eyes set in what appeared to be an older face, with markings that suggested rank or authority. "Commander of Earth vessel," it began, its translated voice carrying a different tone than the previous communication. "You have surprised us. In 17 encounters with developing civilizations, none has possessed technology that could challenge hegemony forces." Elena kept her expression neutral. "We are not a developing civilization for you to categorize. We are humanity, and we determine our own path." The alien made a gesture that might have been contemplative. "The technology you deployed, it manipulates spatial dimensions in ways our scientists have theorized but never achieved." "One of many technologies we've developed," Elena replied, offering no details about its true origin. "That was a complexity best kept private for now. We will withdraw our assessment vessels to a neutral position," the alien said after a pause. "Your demonstration suggests standard protocols are inappropriate in this instance. The hegemony proposes dialogue instead." Elena allowed herself a small smile. Dialogue between equals is always preferable. We accept, provided your fleet maintains a distance from Earth that both parties agree upon. The negotiations that followed lasted for hours. The alien leader, who identified itself as High Overseer Krell of the Galactic Hegemony, revealed that their civilization spanned hundreds of star systems. They had encountered many species, but most had been primitive, or only beginning to explore their own solar systems. Your development path is anomalous, Krell explained. Most species require centuries after achieving space travel before developing the technologies you demonstrated today. Elena carefully avoided explaining the Antarctic discovery, instead emphasizing humanity's resourcefulness. We adapt quickly when necessary. By the time the diplomatic framework was established, the alien fleet had retreated to a position beyond Neptune's orbit. A delegation would proceed to Earth with a limited escort, while the main fleet remained at the system's edge as a show of respect for humanity's demonstrated capabilities. As Elena prepared for the return journey to Earth, she stood alone on the observation deck once more, watching the distant pinpricks of light that represented the alien armada. "Commander?" Tanaka's voice came from behind her. "Earth is requesting our status report." "Tell them mission accomplished," Elena replied. "First contact has been established, and Earth security has been assured. For now." "Do you trust them?" Tanaka asked, stepping forward to join her at the viewport. Elena considered the question carefully. "Trust requires time. What I believe is that we've earned their respect, and that's a foundation we can build upon. They came expecting to find primitives to catalog or conquer. Instead, they found equals. Or at least they think they did," Tanaka said with a slight smile. Elena nodded. The bluff had worked perfectly. While the Prometheus array was indeed powerful, it couldn't be scaled as she had implied. The Antarctic technology was still barely understood, and much of what they'd accomplished had been through desperate innovation rather than complete mastery. But the aliens didn't need to know that. "We've bought ourselves time," she said. "Time to learn to truly understand what we salvaged and to prepare for whatever comes next. The galaxy is clearly more crowded than we realized, and not everyone out there is friendly." As the Defiant turned toward Earth, Elena thought about the history books that would record this day. Humanity had faced its first extraterrestrial challenge, not with surrender or blind aggression, but with calculated courage and strategic thinking. They had transformed an invasion into a diplomatic exchange through a show of strength and restraint. Whatever came next, peaceful exchange or future conflict, humanity had established itself as a force to be respected among the stars. Silence that had swept the alien fleet when faced with Earth's unexpected capabilities had spoken volumes. It was the silence of reassessment, of plans being rewritten, of an easy conquest transformed into a complex new relationship. Elena smiled as Earth appeared as a blue dot in the distance. They were going home with a victory won not through destruction, but through determination and the uniquely human ability to appear more formidable than they truly were. The stars had watched in silence as humanity took its place among them, and that silence had been profound. "Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses."